Well, it's been over a year since I installed a septic system on our little cabin. Nobody lives in this cabin. It's just 1 or 2 nights a week, probably max. So I took these 3 plastic drums, put in baffles, and put them in the ground, filled them with water so they wouldn't float out of the ground. They came with plastic tops, which is good. I could seal them from the sewer, but the plastic tops were not strong enough to support the ground, the dirt, and mowers and tractors or whatever. So I cast these concrete lids to put over the plastic tops. And then I put a riser at the end of the third septic tank, and we dug some trenches for a leach field, 3 feet wide and 1 foot deep minimum. Judging from how much gravel I used, it's more than that. And I went total just under 80 feet. And that is more than enough area in the ground to cover the 300 gallons of water that we store. It's like 500 gallons when you deduct the gravel and everything. So I think it's plenty big enough. I know our soil doesn't leach very well. It's got a lot of clay in it. And a lot of people said it was not going to work, and I wasn't 100% sure it wasn't going to work. But I just thought because we used such a little bit of water and the leach field was so big, I thought I was going to be fine. But there was a lot of doubt in my mind. And overall, this has just been delightful to not have to deal with the pump and the holding tank and dealing with levels of the tank and pumping it out every time and trying to explain to other people how to do it. So all in all, the new system is just wonderful. But is it working? Is it filling up with silt? Is it filling up with sludge? I don't know. Let's see what we can figure out. So for starters, I took the unusual step of putting a vent or a riser or observation point at the end of the septic tanks themselves, and another one at the very end of the leach field. Typically, these are not installed, and you have no way of knowing what's going on under the ground until something goes really bad. I put a copper cap and a screen on each one to keep little boys from trying to fill them up with rocks. And I painted the one black, thinking it would get hot and the air would rise in that one and pull air through the system, and it's an aerobic system, and more air the better. I have no idea if that did any good or worked. But on random cool mornings, we would get some odor coming out of the white pipe, so I extended it. And then I was told the white pipe was ugly, so I painted it. And still, on occasional cool mornings that everything had to be just right, we would get odor. So now the pipe is just capped. I gave up. Just because I'm curious, I'm going to grab a sample of the effluent coming off of the 3 little septic tanks. So I have this little, there's a T, and that's just teed into the effluent pipe. Now it's dry right now because there's no water flowing. I'm gonna put this rag down there to try to catch some liquid. And I'm gonna have to go inside and flush the commode to get some water flowing. And then I'm gonna put it in a jar and just take a look at it, take a picture of it. I'm gonna try to do this every month at the beginning of the month. Now this is not the beginning of the month. And this is not a baseline because I've been here 2 nights, and David and his wife and 2 kids have been here a night since I installed the system. So I don't know if any of the sewage has made its way through the 3 tanks. They were all full of water at the beginning. But let me go flush and get a little water flowing and see what's happening. So a half gallon in should be a half gallon out. Yeah, we got a little bit. I don't know if I can get that to go into the jar. Okay, I'm gonna put the phone down. Okay, my first sample. This is the beginning of August. It's a little bit more cloudy than I was thinking it would be. But then on the other hand, it probably came out of that old rag. I don't know how clean that rag was. I had to wring it out with my hands to get some liquid here. But this will be our first sample. I'm gonna try to do a sample every month, all year long. And it doesn't have any odor at all, so whatever these suspended solids are, I think they must have come from the rag. Okay, this is my September 1 sample. It looks pretty much just like the other sample that I took
when I first put the tank in. I think this dirt is coming from the rag, and also the fact that we filled the tanks up with river water so it wasn't clean to begin with. And it has a slight odor of sewer, but not bad. It's not horrible. So I'm gonna keep checking it every month. If I see it black coming through here, I got an issue. Or if I see chunkies in it, I got an issue. But so far, this looks great. All right, this is month 3 of taking samples. So I'm just gonna take this vent off and lay it to the side. And I got a better grabber, I hope, this time. That old blue rag just wasn't doing too good. I'm gonna shove this in there. And instead of flushing the toilet and running around and trying to catch the water, I'm gonna put some water in the vent with the hose. So actually not the vent, but a clean out. Filling it up. Since the tank's self-level, as soon as you put a cup of water in one end, a cup of water is going out the other end. So I just put in a little more than a gallon probably. I'm gonna turn the hose off. Cap this up. Now hopefully the sponge will come out with the string. If it doesn't, oh yeah, it's coming out. But I got nothing. I have to put more water. Okay, not much of a sample. It looks like the first 2 samples. It doesn't have any floaties or suspended solids in it that I can tell. Tad brown. But if you look down in the hole, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to give you this shot. The bottom, the invert of the pipe is still white, so we're not getting much solids going through there, and that's kind of what I wanted to make sure. I need a better way to grab a sample though next go around. So this is month 3. Still got a good sample. Test it again next month. So I had the idea that since I had a fitting at the end of my leach field, I would just come on out of the ground and put a vent. And since I had a fitting at the beginning of the leach field, I would put a vent. And then by painting this one black, when the sun would come out, it would get hotter and the air would travel through the leach field a little bit. The problem was that 2 or 3 molecules of stinky air would come out of this little vent, and my wife picked up on one of them, and that was the end. So I had to seal this one off. So I'm just gonna have to put a cap here instead of this vent, or maybe I'll stick it up another 4 feet and see if that helps. I kind of like the idea of a vent, but I don't know. Well, it's December 2nd. It's time to do my monthly evaluation of my septic system. Now, I've got the tall riser on there, and so far it has solved the odor problem. But I need to put a brace on it because it's not going to stand up there by itself forever. We're going to have a strong wind, and it's going to knock it down. So I'm going to put the phone down and take this off, and we'll take a peek in the hole. So this is month 4 of the septic tank being in service. I'm gonna quit taking samples because it just didn't work very well. But you can see down there, that pipe is still very white, so we're not getting much, if any, suspended solids coming from the septic system going into the leach field, which is this way. And that's what I want to keep checking on. If I do start getting some sludge, I need to do something because I don't want to fill up my leach field. I can dig up the tops of these 3 septic tanks probably in less than an hour and get a pump truck and come pump them out. It would take me days to rebuild the leach field. And I got another observation well at the other end. Let's go check it out. Okay, this pipe is at the very far end of the leach field. I have a 90. I have a 90-degree pipe. Okay, so this is not a good sign. I have standing water in there. So my leach field is not leaching. We're gonna have to address that. We had my daughter-in-law and 5 friends, so 6 people come spend the weekend. And then shortly after that, I had a birthday party here, so me and my 2 sons and my wife and the 4 kids were here, so I guess we overloaded it. That's a little depressing. So I took another reading with a stick, and I was a little more careful this time, and I measured it, and it's 2 inches. So the pipe on this end is half full, and I don't know how to do the math because I don't know the elevations, but it's got to be less than 20% of the total gravel bed surcharged, I think. I guess I can, no, I don't know the elevation of the far end. I'd have to dig it up and shoot the elevation, and it's just not worth it. But I'll monitor this and see if this gets worse or better as time goes on. So I stuck my stick down in there and pulled it out, and we have about 2.5 inches, which I think is pretty much what I had last month.
So doing some math in my head, my pipe slopes 1.5 inches on 10 feet roughly. So that's 12 inches from this end to the other end, and I'm up 2.5 inches on the low end. So roughly 20% of my gravel bed is surcharged. I mean, it's full of water. Now, I don't know if that's not normal. I mean, I don't know how you can have a pipe way underground that would be dry. But anyway, I'm not in any kind of situation where I'm panicking, because until it backs up all the way to the septic tank and doesn't let water flow through, I don't really have a problem. It's still cleaning the water. The water still has 100% no odor. But I monitored this for a while, and it creeped up, and then all of a sudden, something weird happened.
Watch the video. I'm gonna take a little sample and see what it smells like. Well, it's February 3rd. Let's check the sewer system. Pull my vent pipe off here and look down there and see how white my septic tank discharge is. Oh yes, I don't know if you can see, I don't have my flashlight with me, but the invert of the discharge pipe is still bright white. So no solids coming out of the triple septic tank, so this end is behaving perfectly. It is surprisingly hard to get the little cup to flip over sideways and get a sample. And I can tell it's empty because it doesn't weigh anything. I might have some this time. Let's see. Teeny tiny amount. I'll give it a sniff test. It smells excellent. It smells like water. I mean, it doesn't smell like anything. So we're treating. We got good treatment, but we're not having good percolation. About 100 people told me that was going to happen, and I was gambling, but I think I lost. I'm gonna have to do something soon. Now down here at the end of the very end of the system, at the end of the leach field, I'll stick my post down in there. This is just a 90 going straight into the discharge pipe, and it's dry. There's no water. Now, this is kind of weird because there was water. As a matter of fact, at some point, I was getting concerned about how much was in there. It was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches. But now there's like 0. So apparently everything's working.
Now this is a peek yesterday, October 28th, of the end of the septic system, and it is still white. So we're not putting any sludge into the gravel bed, and that's what we need.
So I checked this a couple of weeks ago when I was getting footage for this video, and there was no water in the bottom. And that kind of blew my mind because it had been getting worse and worse and worse. Looks like it was more than a third of my leach field was surcharged. And now, not a drop. How did that happen? I have no idea. I got some ideas, but I have no way to back them up. Possibly this backfill wasn't compacted enough to prevent rainwater from infiltrating into it. So possibly in the beginning I was getting a lot of rainwater in it. I don't know that for sure. Possibly these tree roots have made use of that water underground and have sent some little bitty roots over there and they're sucking up water. It's possible. Possibly with a little bit of head pressure. I mean, it was probably a foot deep on this end. Maybe the water pushed into like a little sand vein and now it has a place to go. I don't know, but I'm not complaining. And it's just lovely catching rainwater and being able to flush it away and not have to deal with it. Oh, and I want to show you something else. So we had a good rain a couple of days ago, and this time I remembered to turn the valve off and we are full. We have almost 300 gallons in this thing, and we have 300 gallons roughly between my first 3 tanks. And so I have enough rainwater now, 1, not to worry about it, and 2, if I want to wash out this tank someday, I can just put this tank online and be able to clean it out. I got a backup plan, so it's all good.